Hi friends, I'm Chelsea and I am here with my December TBR. So somehow we are already at the last month of the year. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. So I know everyone's kind of trying to fit in their last minute reads of 2024, and I have lots of books I want to read. December is going to be a busy month, so we'll see how many books I can actually read, but I'm excited to hopefully read as many books as I can in the month of December. As usual, I have a couple already on my list. Then I probably will do my TBR jar to get some prompts for books as well. So first of all, I'm currently reading Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. The book is somewhere, I don't know where it is. I'm listening to the audiobook. I'm only 15% through that, so there's no way I'm finishing that in November. So that's going to be a carryover from my November TBR into December. And I know book 5, Wind and Truth, comes out at the beginning of December, but that's probably not going to get read until January realistically, because Rhythm of War is like 60 hours, so I don't want to jump right into book 5 right after finishing that. So I'm gonna just pace out my Stormlight archive reading as usual. So that'll be carryover, and then another carryover from my November TBR is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is the book that y'all voted for, so sorry it's not getting read in November. The reason is that I'm going to be buddy reading it with Shuba from Shuba Reads Books. We read One Dark Window together, and so thought it would be fun to do a buddy read of book 2 as well. So don't worry, it's still getting read, just a little bit later. This is the second book in the One Dark Window duology, and I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. That will get read in December, whatever month is coming up. I don't even know how it's the end of November already. Okay, next up, another book in a series, and the final book in a series as well. This one is a thick one, a little thicker than I thought. This is The Winners by Frederick Bachman, the third book in the Beartown series. I didn't realize it was like 600 pages. Oh wow, 650 pages. That is quite the leap. The first two are like 400 to 450, I think. So yeah, this is a lot. This is for ellenmade book club. We've been reading the Beartown series this fall, and this will be the final book in that trilogy. So I am very curious to see how it ends as well. I think it was like a 2-year time jump since the first book, just kind of continuing the story of all the people in this little hockey town and all the things that have happened with them over the course of the years. So very excited to get to this final book. And then finally, I have my in-person book club choice for December. We all decided we wanted just like a light, fluffy, feel-good Christmas rom-com. So we will be reading The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. So this is part of the Dream Harbor series, which I read the first book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Thought it was pretty fun, nothing revolutionary or mind-blowing, but it's a fun, like, small town Gilmore Girls Hallmark kind of feel. And so this is book 3 in the series. You don't really have to read them in order though, and I believe it's just similar small town vibes, but Christmas related. So that sounds nice, especially because some of my other books are kind of thicker. This will be a pretty quick, easy read, I'm sure. So that will be fun to do with my in-person book club friends. Otherwise, we got my TBR jar here. Always fun to see what the jar decides for me. So that was about 4 books that I already mentioned. I usually read 7 to 8 books a month. So I think I'll do 5 prompts just to have some options, and because it's fun to pick the prompts. So 5 prompts, and then these other books too. I'd never finish my TBR, and it's probably because I put too many books on my TBR, but here we are. So, okay, here is prompt number 1. We have, a book in a series. Well, literally all 4 books I just talked about are books in a series, so that's wonderful. I do have a lot of books on my shelf. You can't see, I have my TBR cart over here. I do have a lot of books in series, so let me figure that one out. I could just cheat and apply this prompt to literally any of the books I just talked about, considering it, but I don't know. Okay, is it cheating if I just use Two Twisted Crowns? Because that would be really nice if I already had a book that's on my TBR jar prompts. I'm just gonna do it. It's my game, and literally all of these are in a series. So yeah, Two Twisted Crowns, that's prompt number 1, and now I'm gonna pick 4 other prompts that are not gonna be any of the books that I mentioned. So there you go. This is prompt number 2. I think this is a new one. I'm scared because last time they had me working pretty hard. Okay, book that's been on 3+ TBRs. I don't know if I have any that have been on multiple TBRs. I didn't really start making TBR videos or even TBRs until probably when I started my channel earlier this year. I make a TBR on Goodreads every month, so let me see if I have any. I might have to make it books that have been on 2 TBRs because I don't think I have books that have been on 3+ TBRs. I don't think this is going to work actually. I thought that was a fun prompt, but I literally don't have any books that have been on 3+ TBRs. So this is off to a wonderful start. Let's try that again. Okay, this is number 2 again, I guess. Let's hope this leads us to an actual book that hasn't been talked about. Okay. I can work with this. Cozy vibes. That's my jam, you know? And I'm trying to think here. I have 2 fantasy. I have like a literary fiction and a romance, I guess, cozy romance. So I could do a cozy mystery, cozy fantasy. Those are probably my best bets. I still have Can't Spell Treason Without Tea on my TBR that was on my fall TBR, or at least October TBR maybe. I'm gonna see how many times I can say TBR in this video. You should start counting. I do have Shady Hollow. That one actually has showed up on 2 TBRs, so maybe that should have been my choice for the last prompt. This one could maybe count for both of the prompts that I just picked, so the 2+ TBRs and cozy vibes. This book has gotten pushed to the side multiple times, and so I should probably try to read it because it sounds so cute. It seems like it's right up my alley. So it's like a cozy murder mystery set in like a woodland town with foxes and all sorts of woodland creatures. I don't know what other animals there are. And it's a little series. It looks really fun. They're pretty short. Like, yeah, this is only just over 200 pages. So I like to add a short book on my TBR. This feels like a good choice because I have almost read it multiple times. So that will work very well. Okay, number 3. Yeah, I don't know. I always lose track of how many prompts I picked. Takes place in home state. Okay, so that could mean either where I grew up or where I live now. So I grew up in Florida, but I'm definitely settled in North Carolina. So I could pick either. I'm leaning towards North Carolina. It kind of just depends on what books I have, I guess. I thought that was going to be very difficult, and then I realized I have a book that is set not only in my home state, but in my city. So that fits pretty well. And that is Seraphina and the Twisted Staff by Robert Beatty. I talked about this in my last video, in my book haul video, but this is part 2 of the Seraphina series. I don't actually know what the series is called, but it's like middle grade fantasy, mystery, kind of spooky vibes, historical feel. It takes place at the Biltmore Estate. It's a really fun, fast-paced read. Another short one, I think. This one's about 350 pages, but the text is pretty big and it's middle grade, so it reads pretty easily and quickly. So yeah, that feels like a good fit for takes place in my home state. Another book in a series, which is good. I'm kind of working through my series, although I'm also starting new series, so you know. Okay, prompt number 4. And I maybe should add like a historical fiction or another fantasy, something like that. We'll see. Okay, wow, literally what I just said. This is continue or finish a series. Okay, this is interesting timing. I could have just used that for any of them. Continue or finish a series. That's good. I don't want to start a new series, so probably not going to be doing historical fiction. 2 of these prompts are very similar. Book in a series and then continue, finish a series, but whatever. So I was maybe going to push this off a little bit. I don't know why. Potentially I was going to reread the first book and then read the sequel, but I don't know if I have to necessarily reread the first book. I did love it, but I kind of want to just jump into the sequel. So this is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune, another one from my book haul video. The first book is The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I absolutely loved. I think it's just a duology, so this would be finishing the series. And if it's not a duology, then it's at least continuing it. And I think this follows the story of Arthur, who is like the headmaster of this orphanage on this remote island. In the first book, we learn all about Linus, who goes to this island to kind of like scope out what's happening. We get to know all these magical children and just all these really sweet people and relationships, and so this one focuses on Arthur, I believe. And so very curious to see what happens in this book. It's kind of another cozy fantasy too. I feel like winter is a good time for cozy fantasy mystery kind of books. Okay, that was 4 prompts. Let's pick our last prompt and then we will recap. Feels like this went by really fast, but that's okay. Last prompt number 5 is random color generator. That's fun, a little different than all these series related prompts. I think I will just go to Google and type in random color generator and see what my results give me. I assume it'll just kind of pick a color and then I can pick whatever cover matches that. Let me look at this website page really quick. It's just like random color generator and then it just gives you a random color. Who would have thought? Here we go, Orient Red. Well, look at that. That matches the book really well that I already picked. We got a theme here of prompts working for the last book that was picked. Okay, so very red type of cover. Oh, it just changed colors. The page just refreshed, so I'm gonna pick a different color because I want to be able to look at it. I don't know why it refreshed. Okay, it changed and it went to copper brown, so I'm just gonna take a screenshot so it doesn't change the page again on me. Okay, like I was saying, we have some mysteries, we have some fantasy, we have a litfic cozy romance, pretty good spread. We could do a historical fiction, like I said, or like a thriller or another fantasy, I guess. I don't really know what winter vibes I'm feeling. I don't tend to read like a ton of Christmas books, so I'm not necessarily thinking to like pick a bunch of Christmas books because I only have one on my TBR. So copper brown, interesting color here. So this kind of fits that a little bit. Like we have the brownish colors. We have a lot of different colors here, but the brown definitely matches. So Can't Spell Treason Without Tea is an option. Okay, this book that keeps showing up that I keep not reading, Where the Dark Stands Still. I need to look at these colors. Unfortunately, it doesn't match super well. I want it to. I really want to read this book though. I kind of keep forgetting about it. Okay, it kind of matches the back, right? You could see that. You could see that right there. Okay, so I have that one as a potential stretch option. I don't see any of my historical fictions matching this shade of brown. I think my best options are these 2 fantasy books, Can't Spell Treason Without Tea and Where the Dark Stands Still, which are 2 books that have been on my radar to read very soon, and I still haven't read them, so either of these would be a great choice. When I'm looking at the colors, this one matches that copper brown better, but I also really want to read this. So I have a dilemma here. Let's see how long these are because, again, a shorter book would be better. 336 pages, and then try not to spoil myself by looking at the end. 352. So pretty similar page length, both fantasy with some romance elements, cozy vibes, I think. I guess if I'm going on color alone, it's gonna be Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. And this book is just gonna have to wait another month, as much as that pains me to say. But I also really want to read this. So we got our copper brown, cozy fantasy, steeped with love. I've talked about this a bunch, so not going to talk about it anymore. And that is my December TBR, I believe. A good mix here of different genres and some cozy vibes, which I like, and a couple books that I picked up recently, as well as a couple books that I have had for a long time. So let's do a quick recap. So we have Can't Spell Treason Without Tea for random color generator. We have Serafina and the Twisted Staff for Set in My Home State. We have Shady Hollow for cozy vibes. We have Somewhere Beyond the Sea for continue or finish a series. Two Twisted Crowns for a book in a series / carryover / buddy read. We have The Winners for Ellenmade Book Club. And then we have Rhythm of War, which I'm currently listening to, like I said. And then The Christmas Tree Farm for my in-person book club. I'm excited. Lots of fun books here that I definitely want to get to soon. So let me know, as always, what you are planning to read in December, as well as your thoughts on any of these books. If you've read them, if you want to buddy read any of them. That is all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.